and welcome to Connections for Life. I'm Ted Peet.
Chad Cuvo.
I saw your belly. Joe's the rat. It's not this. It's not that kind of show, Chad.
Ted has no voice.
Not
as usual after a basketball weekend on the Monday.
Oh, is that what's going on? I was wondering why I couldn't hear him.
Yep, it's gone.
Well, that pivots right into weekend chat. Teddy, apparently yours was rambunctious. What happened?
Coaching another basketball tournament. We had our AAU club down in Spooky-Nook, and we did well. We had a couple teams come up just a game short of the championship, and we brought one championship. So very happy for the club. We did well. Grew a lot.
So I assume that was your entire weekend, huh?
Yeah, from the time we hung up recording on Friday, I jumped in my car, drove 4 hours, and it started.
That's fun.
And I got home last night at 10:30.
Sweet.
Wow.
How about you, Jeff?
What do you got going on, Coos?
Logan's home, so I just tried to keep up with supplying the household with food. That's pretty much.
It's like a chip. It's like feeding a chipper shredder.
It's just, yeah, that was part of my weekend. No, we didn't really do a whole lot. It was nice. We got to relax and hang out. I mean, he's in the basement with his roommate, so you don't see him much. It's like they're in
his roommate. They're like the traveling companions.
How about you, Joe?
Well, I'm happy to say that we won both our soccer games this week, so now we are 1-0 and 4.
Oh, look at that! Yes,
yeah,
making progress.
We won the first one 5. What's that?
You said you won both games, and then you go, we are now 1-0.
No, because
both teams,
two teams.
I got a little delay in my. Yeah, I had a little delay. I could tell too. I just shut up. Yeah, so we're 1-0 and 4 both teams. So
wow,
I'm still frozen.
It's a good record.
No,
you're all right. That's undefeated.
Oh, am I? I can't tell anymore.
Undefeated. I'm impressed.
Yeah, undefeated. So actually, this is our last week. So
you have a chance to go completely undefeated. Not many youth soccer teams in a pair can do that. Look at the coaching accolades you should get for going. If you can go to
MLS next year, you're not going to work it up.
Yeah, and I don't know. They asked me if I wanted to coach the indoor league. I was a big fat no, so I'm gonna bow.
I'm wondering if you're going to make the playoffs with a 2-0-4 record.
Well, yeah, we will, because there's only like 6 teams or something like that. So I mean, everybody gets a chance to play. I don't even think there's playoffs. And then yesterday I went to the pumpkin patch. So we went and did corn mazes and tractor rides in the freezing cold and wind. It was fantastic. But yeah, just a normal typical weekend.
Are you getting those pumpkins?
Back to homeschooling.
You getting those pumpkins to prep for our carving contest next Monday?
Oh yeah, I got 6 of them. I'm gonna do 5 in advance, so I'm on.
I know you.
That's certainly not happening.
Chad and I are gonna turn in these subpar looking pumpkins. Joe's gonna be like the Picasso of pumpkin.
Of course he is.
Yeah,
it's the only way to go.
Trust me, I'm not. I promise you. It's just like golf and bowling. I've made a commitment that I don't care.
It's the same thing, huh?
I don't care about pumpkin carving either. No.
So so we've made an effort now. We're gonna, or at least we're going to make an effort. Let's put it differently, to talk about one subject each from the Upsco Expo, the educational summit we have coming up December.
When is that, Chad?
It's December 1st through the 3rd, Joe. Thanks for asking.
Hey, what is the registration fee for that, Chad?
The registration fee is absolutely zilch. However, we will be taking donations. Whether it be $1, $5, $50, $500 to a local charity in Moravia, New York. That's going to be put on the website this week. It sounds like it's all getting set up, so that's exciting. I'll talk about I'm trying to highlight. We'll try and highlight one every week. This week I picked Charter Plastics and how plastic pipe is made, and I sat through their presentation a few times with some customers, and it's just excellent. It really does. Wow.
It's
I was doing great. Cool. I was doing great until then. It really goes into plastic pipe, and a little bit. It also talks about how Charter's a little bit different than some other manufacturers when they make their pipes. So what do you guys got?
Joe?
Oh, we're supposed to all be doing a segment?
Oh, sorry, I forgot to tell you that. I just did it by myself.
All right, so Joe's not prepared.
I'll go ahead, Chad. Go ahead, Ted. I'll have mine next.
So I'm going to put the McElroy system for the natural gas industry, which is also taking place on December 1st from 2 to 3 p.m.
Oh, I didn't say that part. That was charter was that same exact time as well. So I'm sorry. Thanks, Ted, for reminding me.
I got you.
I think that's what it means when he says also, but I mean,
Also.
just call me crazy.
One of them words that tie stuff together.
Thanks.
Like,
It's my day.
So
it's
that's
my turn now. Oh,
yeah, your turn. You're still not prepared. Moving
yeah,
into
hold on. Give me a break. I'm actually gonna do Mr. Bill Cantrell. Bill Cantrell doing natural gas, good or great. It's kind of like an expansion on his part of his gas champions course, and we're just really happy to have Bill involved and excited to have him. Bill will be doing that on December 1st from 9 to 10. You can register on upscoexpo.com. As Chad alluded to, it is free, or Ted did. I don't know who's alluding at this point, and I think that's it. Yeah, and we got a whole bunch more. If you guys haven't been on there, there's a whole bunch more courses. We just talked about
how many are there total, Chad?
24 or 5. I try not to count them. It makes me overwhelmed.
24 or 25 different free educational sections.
Okay. It's 26 total.
Ooh,
okay.
Wow.
26.
Thank you, Joe.
Free of charge educational expos. That's unheard of.
It's going to be awesome. So anyways, we don't want to spend too much time in all this. Who do we got this week, Teddy?
This week we have a really fun one. Dan Ferguson and Nigel Burbidge of Footage Tools. Okay.
Well, Dan's not really from Footage
Dan's
anymore.
Not from Footage
he's from the lake now.
Yeah, he's a professional retiree. But he is Dan started with Footage in '96, right? And he was the sales and marketing manager. This guy worked his way up to be the general manager, the vice president, and then lastly, president and co-owner of the company with awesome. Nigel, who is the current president of the company. Nigel's been there 37 and a half years. He started on a machine. There's some
which is wild
stuff going out in this interview. Let's get to it. Let's hear these guys. So Nigel and Dan from Footage, without further ado. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Connections for Life. Today we have Dan Ferguson and Nigel Burbidge with us from Footage Tools.
Well, boys.
Hey guys.
How you doing? How you doing?
Good. How are you? How's the
good?
How's the North Country?
The Great White North.
Yeah,
great. Great.
It's not white today. It's nice blue, sunny sky. So it's nice today.
Don't get used to it. It's on the decline. Trust me, I know.
I know. It's all downhill for the next 4 months, 5 months.
Yeah, we're just the border doesn't stop the snow. I promise.
No, it's true.
No,
I wish it did.
Yeah, me too. Trust me. Guys, so let's just real quick, let's bounce into it. Why don't we start with Dan? Why don't we talk about a little bit about yourselves individually and maybe the history of the organization?
Sure. Nigel, let me go first.
Oh, I said Dan.
Wow, he just threw that over to him.
It's our show.
Oh, okay.
Fine,
Nigel long before he asked the question.
Well, Nigel's been there longer than I have. That's why.
All right, we'll start with Nigel.
Senior.
You win. That's your only one. You get one gift. Nigel, it's your turn.
All right. Thanks, Dan. Hi, everyone. Nigel here. I'm 58 years old, and I've been with Footage for 37 and a half years, coming up to 38 years in March. And prior to that, working at Footage, I was a machinist, and then came into Footage for a 3-week stint, and it's kind of stretched out a little bit longer than I had hoped.
You were 21, if I did my math right?
Yeah, pretty young. Yeah,
21 years old. That's awesome, though. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's good. Really so, then I've been, like I said, been to Footage for almost 38 years. Footage has been around since 1982. Originally, we were part of a utility contractor business. Then they did laying utilities, installation service, and they had a need for tools. So we started just kind of fixing the tools they had and started making the new tools.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So Dan, you're president. I mean, Nigel, you're president, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Dan, let's talk about your maturation.
I should have said it. I'm president.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Dan. I'm retired now, and happily.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I know, not at all. I can believe me. There's life on the other side. I I spent most of my career, probably from 1977 on, in a variety of sales and marketing capacities with various manufacturers, distributors, and joined Footage in the mid 90s, just as they were starting to turn a corner where, as Nigel said, we were really, Footage was really basically set up to sell and service tools that they made specifically for the parent company, which was Cliffside Contractors. And it was after, I guess, many years of coaxing and convincing, they said, listen, the market could use these tools. Why don't we look at seeing what we can do to grow our distribution? And as when I joined, they had a network of agents and some distributors, but it was still fairly green. So I came in as a sales and marketing manager and proceeded to try to, with the help of many of the staff, tried to grow the business in not only distribution, but also in the product mix and lineup that we had. So I think we did a decent job of finding, and it's always difficult when you're trying to elbow your way into a marketplace. We managed to find some good distribution. We did a lot of work with our distributors, spent more time in the field with them, and I think it really helped pay off. In the later 90s, we entered into a brand labeling agreement with Ridge Tool, and Ridge Tool is one of the largest distributors of industrial tools under the brand name of Rigid. So we developed a tool specifically for an industrial application, and that's a relationship that's still going on today. And Nigel can maybe speak a bit more about that now. But as of when I left, it had been a very lucrative relationship, and one that sort of helped sort of cement our base business. Dealing with the utility industry, it's sometimes you have lots of peaks and valleys at times, as you fellas know. Nigel can probably speak a little bit about his involvement and growth in the aerospace industry, which was another one of the
Stop jumping ahead. That's one of our next questions, Dan.
Oh, okay. one of the milestones. That was one of the milestones. So I'll go back to you fellas now.
No, that's awesome. That's I mean, the history, the story, and the growth is pretty amazing. To think that you guys, especially not to take anything away from you, Dan, at all, but to Nigel, I mean, if I hear that correctly, the company was probably only a couple of years old when you started there too, right? At 21.
Yeah, and because we were part of the utility contracting company, we weren't even. I think that's when we were only named Footage in '82. Really,
that's pretty wild.
Footage was around for probably 4 or 5 years before that. It was just a little repair shop in the corner.
That's
we were
really
repairing We were repairing backhoes, loaders, ditch witches, things like that. So anything to do with the engineer equipment used in the field. So
just a little sidebar. Nigel's dad, Ray, was the first machinist that Footage hired. Actual machinist, wasn't he? Nigel?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he started in '81, and he was there until '98. He retired in 1998.
Wow. That's one of the other very unique things about you guys. I think that I find is that you with JT or James Taylor, who was our first guest in the show. He's been there for a long time too. You guys really must do the right thing in keeping people around, and they have long careers just like you guys did at Footage. So that's something to be really respectful of, and I think it's awesome.
Yeah, we have quite a few members of our staff have been with us over 20 years, and it's been great. It's nice to have that retention, especially nowadays, and that loyalty as well. So
it's that's pretty neat. I mean, and I don't sometimes we stick to the direction of the questions and how they go, but sometimes the conversation just changes in it. And you kind of told us about how you got here now. Dan touched on it a little bit, but you guys have had a bunch of projects and things. I mean, you guys have taken on a lot of things. We talked just the basic, the aerospace engineering, which we will later. But what's your favorite project you work on? Because there's got to be something that's just like your feather in your cap, I assume.
Well, Maybe I'll answer this one. I have to say we've had a number of great milestones with our products. I think a lot of the evolution of our product came as a result of our close connection, not only with our owners at the time, which is a big utility contractor, but also the connections we made with people like yourselves who got us in front
like
of
that word, Dan.
Connections.
Keep saying it.
Yeah.
We get a nickel every time you say it.
Oh, really? Good.
No, I wish.
But the connections we've made with our distribution, and we'll touch on the UPSCO involvement as well. But just being able to utilize your connections, and there's another nickel. Your connections and able to really understand what the customer is looking for. Not only through your feedback, but sometimes face to face with your customers. I think that works really well. I mean, evidenced by the fact that James Taylor has done a remarkable job with the UPSCO group, and really has dedicated himself to to your needs and your customers' needs.
He's
and
fantastic.
I think that's been huge. And we realized that going into when you set up a new distributor, the worst thing you can do is leave them alone. And I think the more you get involved with your customers, the more you relate with them, the whole speed of trust thing, where you guys trust each other. I think it's huge, and it pays big dividends. So I mean, as far as products go, I think we really took the squeeze off line into a nice direction when we we talk about tools being lightweight, and that's certainly was a big part of it, being connected with our owners at the time. We used to know by coffee break if they didn't like something, and we would ask them about the tools, what they'd like to see, what they didn't like. I think we sort of revolutionized a pretty stagnant industry in the squeeze off tools when we started coming out with our hydraulics, even our manual tools, where we kept all the bars together. Everything was intact. It was lightweight. It was simple to use. The hydraulics, I think, really made a big impact, because we changed the dimensions, partly because we used dual acting cylinders on the larger hydraulic squeeze off tools, enabled two men to walk an 8-inch squeeze off tool to the ditch, where prior to that, you'd need a backhoe to take a competitive machine there. So I think some of those things, those innovations, were really big. I think we did a lot of custom work for a variety of utilities, some of which were in the States, where we got special requests saying, we've got an application. Would you guys be willing to work with us? And we certainly embrace that. Again, when you can build that sort of trust and relationship with a customer, you sort of exclude all your competition. And we were able to deliver some pretty unique tools that actually ended up going into our lineup. I mean, that's the beauty of what we do, is you're dealing with a utility. Chances are there's 100 utilities that are doing the same thing, and you've just developed a tool for one. And most of what we found with the utilities is they weren't really looking for a exclusivity or priority on the products. They just wanted to get their needs serviced.
Right.
So it allowed us to open up the market for some of those tools. And like C165 is a classic case in point, where it's really done extremely well for us in a variety of locations around North America.
Yeah, I want to say something that you kind of touched on, is the distribution. And we at UPSCO have a lot of vendors and principals that we represent. And we work with, and you guys have always just set the bar so high. And we've always had such an amazing relationship with all of you, not just you guys, but also your staff and all the people that work there. A phenomenal organization from the top down to the bottom. And you've always been so kind and gracious and very great to work with. Thank you guys. I mean, we really appreciate that relationship and the opportunity to be able to collectively share ideas and come up with solutions for our customers. And you guys always being willing to go that extra mile for us and also for the customers. You make it easy for us to work with you guys, and we want to say thank you for that. You're
very welcome.
That was the sentiment I was going to
Thank you.
echo, was the easy portion of it there. And it looks like right on time as Joe froze. But that's great.
Wow. He's dead
had to get
still
lost.
too. That's awesome.
there
Oh,
he
he's
is.
back. Look.
There he is.
Am I back?
I love it.
Man, I tell you what, my internet
Welcome
is
back.
brutal, you know. So before I get frozen again, let me move on to the next question. You guys, we talk about squeeze off tools. We did with the segment with JT, and we talk about them a lot because that's our primary product that we work with you guys. But there are also some other items in the natural gas world and the utility world that you guys do manufacture and have brought to market over the course of the past, 10, 15 years. Was either one of you guys want to just discuss, what other products you have that facilitate the natural gas world? And in addition to that, what other markets do you serve? I know you guys have a whole, we're specifically focused on natural gas, but I know you guys are spread out in a lot of different other markets. If you want to just touch on that, I think that'd be cool for people to hear.
Yeah, obviously one of our other biggest big product lines would be the underground piercing tool, or torpedo, if you will. And we've been making those for a long time. Ours has evolved a fair bit over the years. We're always looking at improving the product that we have and try to stay as competitive as we can with that product. So, and the sales of that product have been increasing over the last 3 to 4 years as well, dramatically. And also we have the tapping tools that Dan alluded to, the rigid relationship, and fortunately we're still benefiting from that relationship. They're still ordering a lot of product annually. And that's worked out well for us. And we've kind of with that product as well, with the tapping tool, we do sell that into the gas market, natural gas market as well, with the hot taps and things like that. So
Yeah, we also make I think some of you fellows were there when we got involved with a project with National Fuel Gas on the alignment.
You guys were bringing it up.
On the alignment tool, and that was something that's probably the last thing I worked on before I left, and that was there again. That's another example of your strong connections with a customer, and it's sort of we were able to piggyback on that, and we sold a sizable number of squeeze off tools just prior to that, and I think getting to know us a little bit, getting to build up the trust. They approached us and said, we have this application for an alignment tool. Would you fellows be interested in working with us? And we said, absolutely. And, between UPSCO and Footage and dealing with the folks at National Fuel, we came up with what I think is a beautiful product that gave them exactly what they wanted. And it was something that wasn't on the market. Currently on the market. So, those are the things that I think excite us about working with yourselves, with various utilities. Is there's a variety, and if we look ahead, there's a variety of opportunities. I always say opportunity is everywhere when you know where to look, and there's a lot of opportunities for sort of custom made tools. And I think it's the kind of thing that we need to make our customers, not only our distributors but also our end users aware of what our capabilities are. The fact that we're small enough that we can do things at a more rapid pace than say some of our bigger competitors. They just can't pivot as well as we can. So that's been one of our advantages, and the fact that we take the time, we'll invest in it, and I think the results are there.
Yeah, definitely. We're not just content with selling the product we have. We're looking at how else can we help our customers. We want to be a solution provider.
Is a perfect thing. Sorry, Nigel. That alignment clamp is the perfect example of that. It really is, and we've had a little bit of we've had some interest from some other utilities too, especially for that use at the end of coming off the coil. It's so heavily made, and it's really actually over-engineered, which is what it needs in that spot and in that where they're using it for, essentially. Dan touched on it a little bit, but you didn't hit the aerospace part, because that's kind of what I'm here to learn about.
Yeah, let Nigel talk.
He doesn't know much about it a lot all the time. I just want to know how I can, if the things I'm landing on when I fly, if you guys are actually in control.
We're here to learn too.
We've made components for most of the airplanes that the commercial airlines fly.
Unfortunately, Nigel's not making them anymore. Nigel doesn't
not
run
many.
on a
Wow.
machine. He doesn't run a machine.
No.
Yeah. But yeah, we started, well, we must have started over 20 years ago, started machining aerospace components. And that helped us get into the quality system that we have as well. We're not just ISO, we also had our AS standard. But the aerospace was becoming a big part of our business. But then as that was growing, then also our own products, the sales of our own products were growing at a rapid rate. And then so over the last couple of years, it's been waning off, and we've been cutting back on the aerospace stuff. So we're not doing as much of that anymore. And I think it's more important that we look after our product and we make sure we improve our customer service. And that's something I think that
awesome.
as Dan really instilled in all of us when he started at Footage 24 years ago, was he brought that professionalism, and like customer service is number one. And so I think that's important. And because we were doing so much aerospace, and aerospace is such a demanding industry. And as far as like, sure, we don't get forecasts for any of our products now in the natural gas markets, but we did in aerospace, it was even worse. And we did react well to that, but it was something that, again, we wanted to just focus on our product and our offerings, and then also everything else we can do for our customers. So we're almost out of that now. And
well, darn.
It's extremely demanding, but the other side of it, I think when you're talking to customers, the fact that we use aluminum, it's aircraft grade aluminum, the fact that we were manufacturing landing gear components, it's a great sell when you're trying to, for people that don't know Footage, it gives them a little bit of insight as to, as to our capabilities and what we're able to do. And Nigel can speak to the ISO part as well, but that was also a segment of our growth over the years. And how long ago was that, Nigel, when we embarked on the ISO train?
Just around 10 years ago. We got in, we tried to get into it earlier, but we weren't ready. So then about 10 or 11 years ago, we got into it. We hired someone full-time to look after quality. We have a quality systems manager, and that's been working well for us. And again, adopting all the practices that you have to do for aerospace. So we still continue to do that, even though we're not doing aerospace. So
actually, ours was an aerospace designation with ISO built into it, wasn't it, Nigel? It was.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, that's a comfort level.
Yeah. We've renewed to that standard 3 times, and now this time it'll be the first time in our recertification coming up for this February. This will be the first time that we're dropping the aerospace, and we're just going to stick with the ISO going forward, because for what our products and everything, the ISO works really well for us and our customers.
I think that brings transitions into a good other talking point that you guys kind of already touched on, because we're so versatile and in so many different markets. And I think that, I guess what we're trying to say just in layman's terms is the aerospace market is probably I think Dan said demanding. There's probably a lot more, qualifications and certifications and things that you need to go through to even be approved to be able to do that. I think it's really interesting that you guys made those products, but it also helps in I guess gearing your business in a way to set yourself apart from some of your competition in what we do in the natural gas industry. And I think that those practices and those things that you guys developed for the aerospace industry kind of really set you apart from manufacturing your other products for maybe industries that aren't as critical or difficult, because you guys always toe that line and keep that standard up regardless of the product line. And I think that that's a testament to your organization. For those of you that haven't been there, the place you could eat off the floor. I mean, it's impeccably run, and it's just an awesome facility to visit and tour. And I guess the real question that I'm driving to is, aside from that, what do you think for yourselves, from your business perspective, sets you apart from your competition, from other manufacturers that are out there doing the same things that you do? What are the differences between Footage and maybe some of those organizations?
I'd have to say it's the way we dedicate ourselves to our distribution. I don't know how many, and I'm not even asking for the number, but I think if you have a typical manufacturer distributor relation, you may see your principals once a quarter, generally speaking. I would argue to say that you probably, James probably spends well, he spends a disproportionate amount of time because that was his focus. And it, it's certainly, if you look at the dividends it's paid for both our companies, I think it's something of value. I think the education part of what we're doing, I think the, training, like more and more, it's all about compliance. It's about liabilities. I think the more you can educate your customers on how our products work, how to troubleshoot them, how to repair them, I think the stronger alliance you're going to have with your customer, the more trust you're going to build with them. I think the example of sending, James out to not only do product demonstrations with you, but also service schools. And I think some of the things you say he's doing now on through footage is really paying some dividends as well. So I think those are some key things that I think helps to differentiate us from our competition. And the fact that we're always eager to look at other new applications. Tell us about something that, how can we help? I think it's all about helping your customer. And I think, that's been the Upsco philosophy for as long as I think you've been in business. Is, you enjoy working with your customers, but you enjoy helping them and finding solutions. And I think that's one of the key things. If it's a message to send to our customer base, is that, we're listening, and we want a stronger connection with you. So
I think I just want to give a shout out to JT. I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head there. You got a guy there that's ultra committed. James has been with you guys for a very long time too. I know that, and he started off at a young age and has kind of grown up and matured through your organization. There's probably, and I don't mean to alienate anybody here, but we probably don't have a better rep that we work with than James Taylor. I mean, the guy just exudes a professionalism and is just lives and breathes everything footage. And he's allowed us to be so successful and being able to impart that wisdom on us and also our customers. He's just a phenomenal guy to work with. And I think that's what James embodies, what your organization represents.
100%.
And I saw that from the first day I interviewed him over 20 years ago.
Oh,
and,
stop, Nigel. Okay, it's fine. Got it.
So I interviewed him and it went well. I really liked the guy. He was kind of just relocating back to Toronto. He was working as an underwater welder. And then after, when I thought about it and I wanted to hire him, I called him back on his cell. And he had changed his voicemail just for me. So as soon as I called, I came up, hey, if this is you calling Nigel, he goes, leave a message. I'll call you back right away. And he personalized it right away just for me. So from then, he's had that.
That's
the fact that he knew how to work the voicemail is impressive.
So we're fortunate that his dedication is for us at Footage and for Footage, where he could have been at some other organization and he would have probably been as dedicated there as well if they would have treated him properly, and he would have been dedicated there as he's that type of guy, right? So
you also have to give yourself some credit that, I mean, you have an employee and you retained an employee for that long.
Because I hired him.
Okay, yeah. Because I thought it was because Dan retired. He's still there. I don't know, but I just. But in all seriousness.
I think he was worried about his job when Dan was leaving.
And he shouldn't be. I think so much of it is osmosis. When you spend enough time with him, your product knowledge is going to be that much 100%. Better.
Unreal.
So, I think that's the key, is being able to utilize them the best you can. Not only is it wears well with your customers, but look how much you guys have grown because of it.
Yeah,
but that's the message that falls through every employee that you guys have at your organization, and that message starts at the top and filters down to all of your employees. So give yourselves a little bit of credit for that. I mean, we see it more than other people because we work so closely with you guys and we have such a good relationship. But it starts at the very top, and you guys need to be congratulations.
Give yourself an attaboy for it, because
thank you.
I appreciate that.
It does resonate throughout the entire organization. I do want to make sure I reiterate, one of the best things that I've always heard about Footage in the short time that I've been here and working with you guys is that how open to feedback the organization is. So essentially us up with our boots on the ground with James and in the ditch with the guys working in the utilities, working with the contractors, will come back and say, man, I love this tool, but if it had this feature, it'd be unbelievable, even better. And we'll push that feedback through to you guys, and you guys make the different aggregations or iterations of the tool, and you hear that feedback and you do that, and that is not something that always occurs. So
No. Yeah.
it's a special part of of the organization, and I don't see it changing. But I'm going to ask this here about change. So since Dan's retirement and the sale of the company,
Wait, Dan's retired? Oh no, sorry.
yeah.
Wait a minute.
How have things
We got to start
changed
this over
around
with.
footage, and what was the
I thought
future?
he just lost his fob to get in.
couldn't find it, couldn't get in.
Yeah, sorry, Ted.
So since he's left and retired and is apparently quite happy with it, as he alluded to earlier, what's changed around footage, and what do you see the future like?
Well, right off the bat, sales increased 30%.
Perfect.
Well, that was an easy decision. Then.
That was a no-brainer. Funny they didn't ask me to
we have
stay.
a running joke about that, but what's changed? Well, I guess the first couple of months, I have to say, I was quite lonely, and it was a big difference. Dan's son Ben Ferguson stepped in the role as sales manager, and he was doing a good job. He's doing an excellent job, and that's a relief, and that was reassuring for me. But again, to starting off, it was different because we had worked together for so long. We became such great friends as well as business partners, and we always bounced things off of each other. And even though we have both had different disciplines, we complemented each other very well. We had, in all that time, maybe one disagreement in all those years that we were business partners. That was since we never really talked about that. Was since 2004.
It was over your salary, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But I love it. We should have started with this.
It was different. Like just basically, like at the beginning, it was like me running the business by myself, and I didn't have that sounding board right away. And it was always if because you don't always have a great day, and sometimes if you have a bad day, we knew we could go to each other and talk about it and talk it through, and then sometimes give one another a pep talk or things like that. So that was different at the beginning, but then through time, I developed more trust in the team and the group that I had. So I think again, we just kind of continued off where we're in the same trajectory that we'd always been going, and we've just been going up and just always improving things, trying to develop better customer relationships, better products, trying to really lean on our engineering department to come up with good products, be innovators, and still continuing to move the company forward, being efficient, looking at continual improvement and things like that. And it was funny, I've been going through some old papers the last couple of weeks, and I found a proposal to get some government funding, and it was back from 2003, 2004. And at that time, we had the same number of employees that we have now, and our sales are up 250% since then. So, which shows of what we've done over the years,
Crazy.
just becoming efficient and in all aspects of the business.
Yeah.
Nigel's, I have to really, when it comes to the manufacturing side of it, Nigel has really upped the footage game from, I knew him when he was a shop floor machinist, and he had the same kind of dedication, commitment to his work that he carried through to today. And just constantly looking at best practices, finding ways where we can, we've gone through some interesting times when as we all have, and the market dips and turns down, and you have to find a way. Sometimes you can't always find it outside, you got to find it inside. And Nigel was exceptional at looking at opportunities, best practices, efficiencies. He dialogues so well with the our machine tool suppliers, and he's always picking their brains as you guys would pick our brains about things. He would pick their brains for best practices, best tooling. So it certainly it became quite evident that we could handle any kind of storm that came before us. And I think the fact that we're still here today, the fact that we're, the fellows are growing the business, everything in sales it's all about building momentum. And I think what we were doing up until I was there was continuing to build relationships, look at new distribution. And as those momentum wheels, once you get that thing rolling, that's where, more opportunities exist and are created. So I think, hats off to the guys and what they've done now. I can't see it changing. I mean, I have to speak a little bit about the UPSCO organization. I think that was a turning point. If we have to look at milestones, I'd certainly say that signing UPSCO when we did, and getting to know Dan and Andy and
I don't want to cut
philosophy.
you off, but I'm gonna, because I have to just throw in the Mike talent connection somehow there.
Oh,
too.
geez.
Because I've been trying to get talent to come on the show. So anytime I can get somebody to talk about them, I send them the clip.
Okay, well,
I'm sorry,
Mike
came
Mike
into my
Talent.
head.
Yeah, we go back. As you know probably better than most, Chad. That we go back. Mike was one of our original agents. And, back in those days, we used agents more because, a lot of the distribution was already spoken for. So we had to find a way to market, and we went through the agent process. And, Mike was a fabulous addition to Footage. And, he certainly was, we certainly worked with Mike over the years. I think Mike's relationship with UPSCO was sort of what opened the door for us, and we certainly thank him for that.
That's why I wanted to bring it up.
And he put us in front of Dan Pajak, and we immediately hit it off. I think we spoke the same language. Meeting Andy was just another reinforcement. Looking at your organization, looking at the scope, and also the coverage that you had was enormous for Footage. And so I think that was, I can't say enough about, and Dan Pajak, he's the matchmaker. He's always the guy that's trying to put us together. He loves all this stuff. He likes putting us together with other suppliers that we may be able to do business with, or customers, or what have you. I mean, I think he's been a real champion for that, for your philosophy and your model. And I think it's a successful one for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we could probably go on and on about the connection that we have with UPSCO and Footage, and how all those relationships were formed. I mean, I think it's just an incredible story, and it's just a testament to all the hard work that you guys, all of us have done. Both organizations is where we all are today. We appreciate the relationship we have with you guys more than probably any other vendor that we have. I mean, I actually got a chance to even be in your promotional video accidentally. So I was at, I don't know if you guys saw that or remember that.
I did.
Yeah, sorry about that. That was
hair
like,
like
3 copies went out. I think I have one. yeah, I get all the royalties.
You had funny hair, Joe. It was funny hair. That's how people remember it.
If I take my hat off now, I still have funny hair. But I just want to say, first and foremost, guys, thank you. It's a pleasure always to see you. It's unfortunate because of the pandemic that we're stuck on two different. There's a line between us that we can't get back and forth to see each other, because I know that we've always enjoyed the lunches and dinners and the times together, and working alongside with you guys. And it's nice to see friends. So I just want to say thanks for coming on the show. It's been awesome. It's awesome seeing you guys. And Dan, it's been 3 probably years since I've really seen you or talked to you, and it's good to see that you're happy and healthy. And I know you're itching to go fishing right now. I know that's your next task for the day.
Running out of time.
Yeah. So good luck out there with the fishies, and guys, we really appreciate everything you do for us. So thank you very much.
Thank you for everything you guys do for us. Yeah, thanks for having us on, and we're gonna have to do a Zoom call to have a Christmas drink together for sure.
That sounds good.
Yeah,
let's go for it.
Guys,
sign it up.
I gotta applaud what you're doing. Keep doing this. This is fantastic.
It can't be done without the
great work, guys.
Support of folks like you.
Yeah.
We appreciate
Okay,
it.
guys.
All right.
Hey,
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Stay safe.
Take care.
Nigel, Dan, that was awesomely bad.
Worst one we've had so far, huh?
Brutal.
Yeah.
Terrible.
No, it's great. It was a great interview. Super awesome to hear the stories, to hear everything from you guys. We can't thank you enough for joining the show.
So much fun to have them on. I mean, I've known both of them since I came to work at UPSCO, and we couldn't ask in a company and people that lead that company to have a better partner, truthfully. And I think we talked about that in the interview, but I can't, to say it again, what they do for us and kind of, I guess, what we do for them, it goes hand in hand, and they're just excellent people all around, all of them.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you, boys. Like, I mean, I've known them, I guess, probably the longest.
You've been here longer than us. It's not really like an accomplishment.
Yeah. I'm also the oldest too, so and I'm also tethered to my computer right now. This is how they keep me here. No, it's really good to talk to those guys. I mean, they're an organization that we do a lot of, not just work with as far as selling product, but also as far as, thought sharing, easy for me to say, and Ted spilling water all over himself.
I got a hole in my mouth.
So it's very distracting. But no, I mean, they're just great guys, and I miss hanging out with them. They're all obviously north of the border in Canada, and we used to get to see them quite a bit and have a lot of good times together. So it's good to see their faces and have a conversation. And guys, if you are still watching this, thank you so much. We can't do any of this without any of you. And to have our friends to be able to come on the show and talk to them about on in their lives is really special for us. So cool.
Somebody save Joe while he freezes.
Anybody else?
Yeah. We did it in the interview too. Right in the interview during it. It was perfect time.
He's going to smash stuff. If he's smashing things now. That's why it froze.
He's defeated.
It's okay. We're done now, except for your natural gas back.
Yeah.
So something else we wanted to talk about and try to do. You're okay. You're okay.
I'm
you
going
look
to
pretty
fight
now.
the internet.
You look. I think it's imaginary. We're
I know what Chad felt like in the
week.
first 3 episodes.
Yeah, exactly. We're trying to add natural gas fact. One natural gas fact, an advocacy fact for people to use natural gas, to grow natural gas. That's what we're all here for. We want to grow the use of natural gas, the safe use of natural gas, I should say. So Joe, why don't you give us your natural gas fact?
Yeah, I'll give you half of it. It'll freeze, and I'll give you the other half 15 seconds later. Maybe somebody else should be doing this because
the internet should run on natural gas.
Yeah, seriously. So as Chad alluded to, I just think it's important to talk about all the good. We hear a lot of bad stuff in what's going on now as far as, fossil fuels and all that. But one thing we have to keep in account is that it's safe. And according to a study done by the U.S. Department of Transportation, pipelines are the safest form of energy transportation out there. And I think people need to understand that is that, you always hear about the bad stuff, but, it's natural gas utilities, pipelines are all committed to the safety factor. And it is still, according to the Department of Transportation, the safest way to transport energy. So that's just a little fun fact for everybody. We'll have more, I think, right?
Maybe if people like this part.
I don't know.
Give us a comment. It'd be great.
Yeah, somebody comments once, please. Like just
other than
Doug.
Doug, yeah.
Doug.
Other than Doug.
Tell us if you like this part, Doug. So.
I know he'll watch.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Let's let him get out of your way. Thanks, guys. We love you. We'll see you next week.
I'm going to throw my modem out the window, so we'll talk to you guys later.
See you, bye.
We'll go in 2 weeks. Everybody else, have a good one.
I'll just be a black screen next time.
Bye.